If there's one area we could all agree on when it comes to Formula One and Ferrari, it is that they are the biggest disappointments week in, week out, year in and year out. And that goes without saying. Take for example tonight's livery reveal of their special Miami edition for the SF-25. They could have had the most spectacular livery created, and there are plenty of examples out there from highly talented and skilled artists. But what do we get? Lo and behold, another makeshift load of rubbish. And the 2025 season is actually kind of no different. It is another big disappointment for the team with the car that they've produced, considering where they ended the 24 season in, with the SF-24 being the quickest, or if not the outright quickest, the equally quickest car driver combination with Leclerc on the grid. So you would presume going into the next season, you would be there or thereabouts. So to have already fallen quite dramatically off the pace, which we have seen and it's being showcased over the opening rounds of this 25 season, is a disappointment in of itself. Then when you put that into context of them now having to develop even further into the season and bring a major upgrade package to kind of salvage their season, which it really isn't going to be doing. Let's be very honest here. I think that's another additional disappointment you can add to the list, and the consequences that is going to have on the 2026 season as well, which I think will be another big major disappointment, because of course with you having to juggle two projects and not focus in completely on 26 and just scrap this season as a whole, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot, quite frankly. I think their best bet should be to just solely focus on 2026, but that is not what they're doing. And as we've seen, they're going to be spending even more time on the SF-25 project this year, and that is now going well into, I would presume, the summer break, if not over it, spending copious amounts of resources that are very limited in the quantities that they have. And of course, that is now leaving a negative split with regards to 2026 and everything that they could be doing with regards to their project and the car for next season. Because if we take the two projects and the Formula One errors and look at them individually, there is a very different set of circumstances from both. And the best way to explain this is quite simply in this terms. In the wind tunnel, say you spend a week in the 26 car and the 25 car, the actual amount of lap time gain is going to be hugely exaggerated between the two errors of F1. This ground effect error being in its final year of it, the gains you'll be finding within the wind tunnel are minute. We're talking half a tenth potentially over the course of a week. Now, to compare that to what I've heard and read from some articles with regards to current engineers within these Formula One teams, they're saying that same week, if put on the 2026 car, can yield dramatic results in terms of lap time gains. Some teams, undisclosed as to who they are, have stated that 1 week's worth of wind tunnel time, essentially you can find half a second. So imagine that you're putting resources into 25, which is a disappointment, and you're only gaining half a tenth for your troubles, whereas you could be placing that 1 week on the 26 car and be gaining half a tenth in terms of lap time progression for that 26 challenger. Really, it baffles me. I cannot understand the logic behind what Ferrari seemingly are choosing to do. Logic would dictate you throw away and put everything in the bin with regards to 25 and solely focus on 26, because there's nothing to gain from the season. By the time you bring out this major upgrade package, which could be half a second if it is extensive in terms of maybe what McLaren brought to Miami at the same point last season, then it's understandable. But by the time they actually introduce it, both championships are going to be long gone and wrapped up for Ferrari, because if we look on average, the points difference between the leading teams and where Ferrari are finishing race weekend in and race weekend out, it is on average, I think, around 13 points every single race. So if we look at a driver's championship position here and we look at, say, Leclerc against that of Piastri, who's leading it, by the time we get to maybe round 11, round 12, round 13, when they could be potentially bringing it, that is another 6 rounds. So 6 rounds of, on average, 12 to 13 points lost every race is, of course, around the 70 to 80 point mark. And you're just not going to make that up over the next 10 races with how competitive the field is. So it's resources, it's money, it's time, it's effort thrown down the drain for very little gain. There is, logically speaking here, no reasoning behind why you would do that. You would just rather cut your losses, accept defeat, and just say, you know what, we've screwed up again, and we're going to cut our losses and move on. That would be the prudent thing for Ferrari to do in this predicament that they find themselves in, because I think even if this upgrade is massive and it's a complete change of car like McLaren did in Miami last year, it is too little too late for them in that respect. So just forget it. But as we know, Ferrari make crazy decisions that no one can fathom out why they make these decisions. And this is another said example of that. So in closing, if you're expecting Ferrari to have a successful season with the SF-25, do not expect that. And also with regards to next season and the completely new Formula One era we will be entering, also don't expect anything from that from what I've gathered. I think on the engine side of things, they are well behind the curveball when it comes to the leading machine out there in the engine category, which is of course Mercedes. Again, they seem to be the leaders in that side of things. And of course, in the vehicle dynamic side of it, they've spent a large portion of 2025 with the 2025 car instead of focusing solely on 26. So I think they're going to be a million miles behind all of the other big teams come the start of next season. So a very disappointing 25 and 2026 season is on the cards for the team, which of course is to be expected, unfortunately. And that is where I'm going to wrap this video up, everyone. Hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, do leave a like on this video. If you're new, this is the first time here on F1 Unraveled, do hit that subscribe button down below and turn on notifications for all future content here on the channel. Right, I'll catch you all over the Miami Grand Prix weekend. See you all then.